Alright everyone, my name is DBK. Normally I'm playing retro games, fighting games, you name it. Anime gaming is, I'm in that hemisphere. And I've played mobile games before, okay? I've gone down the path of the gacha. But we're really swimming in the filth this time. We're really stinking it up. And if I'm gonna stink, if I'm gonna get dirty and sweaty, I'm going to make a tier list. That's just what I do. I've been known for distributing tier lists kind of, under the, secretly in the fighting game community, or even like speedrun tier lists for people who run the same games that I do, giving them. But I'm doing gacha. This is a public game. There's not enough information. There's a lot of misinformation being spread around. So I thought it'd be fun to kind of, get everyone on speed, because obviously tier lists are opinions, and the interesting with gacha games is they're always changing. So this list is specifically for 1.0 to 1.1.1, which is the current set. So the Jujutsu Kaisen 0 event has just opened. There is not any changes to the characters or any balance changes, but there are additional characters that have been released. However, it is still the same 22 character count that is available. So there's no extra characters per se. There's just extra variations of the character, like super rare or rare. But yeah, I've been on this every single day. I haven't missed a beat. I haven't wasted any AP points. I am right now doing more of the grind, the free-to-play grind. I'm gonna douse some. I'll probably become a whale myself at some point, and when I do, I'll be sure to stream it, and everyone can call me names. But it's just not. There's no real need for it right now. But hey, things may change. Okay. So Jujutsu Kaisen Phantom Parade tier list. I'm just gonna get real into. I'm gonna explain my my category openings. So. All the current characters are on the list here. I've added the extra ones, and I've put them in order, just kind of order that I like. So you've got like the main team, and then kind of the Sensei Tachi. You got everyone there. By the way, I'm not going to be doing too much Japanese this video, if any at all. I'm going to make a separate Japanese version for this tier list. On my streams, I'll usually do one or the other, but I'm making this video mainly so on YouTube. Other people can watch it later, and if people do watch so I got people who watch my replays on Twitch. Definitely check me out at DBK. I appreciate it. It's just capital D, capital B, lowercase CADE. I appreciate it. But yeah, I just ordered it, and then teams, kind of like everyone's team all together. So, and then the last two characters, which I'll explain why they're last there when we get to them. So the way I'm doing this tier list is I have two other people that I'm close with that are playing this game. One of them is a super omega whale. If whales were riding in the sea, he's leading the lot. He's eating the other whales. He's got the money bags hanging from the sides of his fins. Doesn't care. And that's fine. I love that because it lets me kind of know how much money is going to play a difference when you spend money in this game, and if it's going to really impact the play, because they're much farther than me. I'm at player rank 26 right now, so you should be around like 26, 27. 26 if you haven't used any of the little cubes that you get. So this one is, we have a double S, which is just seriously strong, and OP, that's overpowered. There are some overpowered characters already. These are characters that, if you pull them, you should probably level them up. You should probably build them out. They're not going to go anywhere. I could see them being, for the remainder of the game, they could possibly drop a tier list, but the game has a good future in front of it because they're coming out with content. I mean, it came out on the 21st of November in Japan, and it is now the 6th. It's almost the 7th. We're almost at midnight here. I'm recording this on December 6th, 2023. So they've already had 3 events. So I have a feeling there's just going to be a lot of characters. There's going to be a lot to keep up with. So I want to make these tier lists to then look back and see where you're going. And then also, if you are going to be on the free-to-play model, this is probably the tier list you're going to watch the most. Because I have a feeling it's going to get crazy with some of the gacha things. Then coming up is the super useful and extremely strong. These are just characters have a lot of DPS. They've got some sort of really OP ability. They're going to be, you can put them on a team. They're going to be good. I don't see them dropping down a tier list. They're solid. And then I have an A+. And the reason I have A+ is because I think that not having a category specifically about a special ability is a big miss of what I've seen. Even online, people are just like, oh, well, this character is completely useless right now. But there are some characters in this game that have ridiculously OP techniques. You don't really need them right now, but I see it in this game because this is a really, really solid RPG in the way the game is designed, that you're going to probably need these characters. You might possibly need these characters. And they might be some of these characters that should go in this category that might even be higher. So then I have A, which is, it ain't bad. Like, okay, if you roll this character, if this comes out of the gacha, hey, you know what? It's fine. You can play this game. You can do perfectly fine. B, if you start getting the B range, better luck next time. Yeah, mid or lower, really. Like, this is the kind of stuff where it's like, do you really want to spend time building this character? Maybe not. Maybe don't. Maybe do it if you want to get the your character rank up, because that's really important in this game as well. But don't focus too much on it. And then C is completely useless. It's the garbage. It's the real pits. In a game that might eventually be full of stink and curses, and a game about curses, it is the cursed. I should have just called this category cursed, because if you get this, it's trash. Don't touch it. Leave it there on the floor. Leave it be. Okay? Like, just don't worry too much about it, alright? That's all I gotta say. Alright. So let's start with everyone's favorite, Yuji. So I'm gonna talk about both I'm just gonna talk about the character at first. So Yuji in general, either rare or the SS rare, the super secret rare, great stats, like unbelievably good stats. And one thing that's not talked about is that he has this Kokusen hidden ability from the start. There's not many sites that are talking about this, but it's like a hidden stat that's evaluated. So on some special moves, this ability will actually come out, and I don't understand the calculation for it. I'm just gonna tell everyone up front, like, there's people discussing it right now in the Discord, even in the anime speedrun Discord, people are discussing it. So I would say that it's a little early to tell the exact, but it is calculated separately from the actual damage. It's like a hidden value in this game. So it makes Yuji a really, really, really great character. And the type that you get early in the game, it's really decent. Blue is a great one for the beginning of story, for running missions. Nothing bad about it. Types in general, you don't have to worry too much about. Right now, it's going to be later on when there's a tons of characters. They're going to be competing for spots in your teams. But even if this is the only blue that you pulled, this is a pretty decent blue. This rare Yuji, like, this is, you get the three. You get Yuji, you get Kugisaki rare, and then lastly you get Fushiguro rare as well. So all three of them are decent. Well, they're okay starters, but if you got Yuji, actually pretty decent. So I'm actually going to put this, and this might already be a controversial. I'm going to say it's ain't bad. Like, this character, it has the 3-hit special, which is really nice because each hit is calculated on its own. So you're rolling for crit every time the punch comes out. And you're rolling for the Kokusen to come out as well, the Black Flash to come out as well. Overall, just having that on a special ability is pretty nice. So I really like this character. I've leveled it up quite a bit. It's not the highest on my team. I kind of switched over once I pulled the SSR, but if you didn't pull the SSR, great, still a great character. The R's version super is a little bit lacking, but is also still the 3 hits as well. So, which brings me to just overall the SSR. I'm going to put this on super useful for Yuji, because just overall, if you pull this character, you're going to be using it on your team. Higher stats than I would say most of the cast right now. Great character if you roll it. So yeah, I'm going to say S for Itadori Yuji, the SSR green type. Really good character. I could see this one, you could probably use this from the start to finish of the game. I don't see this character going away anytime soon. I do think that this one is going to get replaced, but if this is a game where there's probably going to be like specific missions that you can do with the character. So again, having the 3-hit right now, I don't see this sinking right away to another tier. I'm going to put it as a solid A. Fushiguro. So Fushiguro, okay, this is a weird one. Like, Fushiguro is strong, but my main issue is that he has to summon his wolves or wolves in the rare version to do the real damage. If you don't summon your wolf, like basically turn 1, you have to summon a wolf. And by the way, I forgot to mention this, but auto battle is garbage in this game. It's really, really bad. It does a lot of it selects moves and things that you wouldn't normally use, and it automatically selects putting out wolves, which is good, but it usually uses your equipment that you have set with it. So everything that I'm talking about in this tier list is comparing even stats without equipment, and just maybe a little bit of team conversation, but think about just on the character. If you pulled this character, would it be good? And there might be some things later on that might make this character better. I don't know. But right now, the fact that you have to waste a whole turn at the beginning to summon the wolves, it's kind of bad. Like, it's not great. And then, you know, some of the other sites, they're saying that the stun is decent, but it's 60%. It's a 60% stun chance. But my issue with Fushiguro's stun is that when he stuns, his wolves do nothing. You basically lose a turn where you're not doing more damage with the wolves. He has an attack stun, it's great, but it does around maybe 5k, you know, 10k if you're maxed. It's not really gonna do. It's not a move killer. It's just a 60% stun chance. And by the way, when I talk about the percentage chances will probably go up because you can increase your skill. So just think of everything to like in a 10% range. So if I say 60%, yes, if you put more points into skill, you could probably get it to 70%. But even then, I don't think it's that good of a move, because this character is really made for DPS, but they gave him like a stun move and stuff. So, however, this character is probably the best rare that you pull, because you can easily do 10k with wolves already at like level 40. Yeah, really strong character in the beginning and well worth building out, but he fades over time, and his stats aren't that good. And actually, I would put the SSR one right above it. Like, yeah, the Jade Wolf is a little bit better, but it's not by much. Like, again, this character just a little bit of a wonky design in my opinion, and that might be because we're going to see more Fushiguros later on, but again, you need the wolves. I might change my opinion on this, but I just think they're overall weak. Their supers are also very lackluster. They're not super high percentage when you compare to the rest of the cast. This character just doesn't really pop off unless you do like a lot of buffs and a lot of setup on him, and it's probably going to take you like 2 or 3 turns, and by then there's already other characters in the game that can like just pop off from the start and do more damage. So then we come to Kugisaki. So Kugisaki is unbelievable. She's the best secret super rare in version 1.0 to 1.1.1, hands down. It's not a debate. She pretty much, anyone who's completed the story can tell you, and myself included, you need her if you want to complete it early on. She does more damage dealing than Goto Sensei and some of the other characters. It's insane. I mean, I'm just having a little brain shock thinking about it because it's so broke. And so the reason really is because of the way her level 3 is really powerful, but it's her super that's really, really good. So I made a little bit of notes. I'm going to read my notes here because I tried to do like calculations. Like I've tried to figure out exactly how I think the damage is being scaled because it feels broken. So normally Kugisaki is very, very weak when there's other characters on the field, especially when you're attacking them, because she gets stacks and special bonuses if the nails are thrown into the spirits, the cursed spirits, or whoever you're fighting. And so this is my theory. This might not be 100% right, but the super normally does 225% damage for every nail that's planted in a character. So I think that the effect goes up, because it says effect goes up by every nail, but it doesn't exactly say by how much. So I think it goes up by triple for every nail. And you can only put 6 nails into character. So you really only need to attack once and then use your super with the SSR version, because the SSR version of Kugisaki throws 3 nails and then snaps and finger explodes them to death. And so, yeah, you're throwing the max of 6, so the damage calorie breaks down like you're doing basically 675% per 3 nails. So it should have been like 225% damage, but I think it's more than that. I think it's about up to 5k damage. So it feels like her super is doing about 5k. So it could be triple what that is. And I think it's like, it could be intentional, but it's calculating in a way that's kind of goofy. So it could be multiplying it 1 more times by 3. I don't really understand. Like if someone in the comments knows and wants to explain like the damage calculator on her super, I actually would like to know. No one seems to be able to fully break it down, and I'm sorry that I can't in this video. I think I'm correct on the 225%. The problem is we can't see behind, inside the data, at least I can't yet, the exact effect up that is going up for every nail, but that definitely has, it definitely has an impact, and it's the most broken super in this game. She is SS, seriously strong. It's undebatable. 1v1, she's going to take down bosses. Especially if you have your other 3 allies to kind of take the heat off of her. So, yeah, I mean, the rare version, then we get to the rare version, which is just kind of weak, and her super in the rare form is just kind of her level 3 in this form. So, I would just say, I'm gonna say completely useless. You're never ever going to use, if you pulled this blue, I don't think you're ever going to use this version of Kugisaki. I think this version of Kugisaki is going to sit on the sidelines, which is fine, because they made her the best character in the game. And yeah, if you don't, I've shown clips on a live when I've been on here, and every time chat has been like, what the, like, they're just like, they can't believe the amount of damage, because it doesn't make any sense even when you do the math. So that's why I think the effect up is a little goofy there. And just in general, like her normal skill abilities, they're pretty high. Like her damage is pretty high in the scaling. It's like slightly below Yuji's, but because of like her triple nail special, which is only like 10 energy, it's just, she just is able to just sit out there all day and just be the best DPS dealer. Alright, so then we're going to the character that I pulled. So Gojo Sensei. So Gojo Sensei, I wanna talk about this character real quick, and I'm gonna show my my window here to explain the stats, because if I don't show it, it's not gonna make much sense. But so Gojo Sensei, this is level 80 stats, maximum grade. It can even go a little bit higher. This skills up I pulled 3 times, but even then the stats are around 3,000. Stats are insane, but the stats aren't just what make this character insane. So what makes Gojo Sensei extremely, like, just so broken in this game, so overpowered, is that basically his skill in general, like his just attack, this is level 6, it's at 376% damage. Every time you level up his skill, just his normal attack, his base attack, it's going up by almost 50%, which is insane. It's higher than any character. It might even be higher than anything we get later on. So I don't see this character going anywhere. If you pull this character, yes, build it out. Yes, Gojo Sensei leaves after 7 turns, but there's plenty of, that's not a bad thing, because so Gojo Sensei not only seems to have not too much of an issue even with characters that are of a different type, because some sort of like piercing ability on his attacks. His self buff is ridiculously good. If he self buffs, it's worth it, because it's, I think this, I didn't even level this one up, but this is 75%. It feels like more. This is like one of those self buffs where it feels absolutely worth it. If you're going through like normal stages stuff, it might be worth just like clearing out the first stage, or before the end of the first stage, do a self buff to yourself, wipe everyone on the second stage with your Jutsuki Hanten Aka, his super move, where he just like, hey, everything's gone, does his little fire beam, and you're gonna you go to the final stage, you still have the buff, and you're gonna be able to kill most bosses in just a few turns, and you won't have to leave. And if you did have to leave, it's not a bad thing, because there's gonna probably be strategies later on where, hey, this character comes out to the field, gives you a buff, you know. So there's a lot of interesting strategies. Someone said, why wouldn't you have it as anchor? But I think it's gonna be more, I think it's gonna be a different strategy where you'll put Gojo Sensei out first, and then when you want to bring in another character later, or if you know it's going to be a longer battle, that's when you have the character that you really want to protect, who is going to come out hitting really hard then. So I have a feeling there's the team ability, the ability to just match with every team, yeah, SS. Not the only reason is it's not better than Kugisaki is just because 1v1 he can't match the damage. Yes, he's invincible, the stats are broken, his character isn't going anywhere, but I really think when they made this game, they made Kugisaki's super, like, they broke it, and they're trying to figure out like where the math went wrong, the coding went wrong, and this character blew up, because it's not on that level, but the super is still so good. When you power up, it's just, yeah, I mean, it was so bad that when people were playing this game in the beginning, they were saying that if you didn't have this character, that you wouldn't beat the game. That's not true. I think that's just like a quick little like knee-jerk reaction for everyone. But yeah, very, very, very Very, very good character. And my character rank also goes up quickly because you probably use it. Yeah. Okay. It's just unbelievable. I'm very happy. That was the first character I chose. I got it for free, and a lot of other people did because they had a pre-order bonus for the Phantom Parade, where if you logged in, you got to choose. You had to re-roll as many times as you wanted to, and then pick the character. So I did choose that character. I should have chosen Kugisaki. I regret it now, but not completely. I don't completely regret it. It's not the end of the world because she's in the normal banner, so it's very likely we'll pull her at some point, and then we can celebrate when that happens. Okay, so let's move on. Masamichi Sensei is just a solid red. He's got one of the best buffs in the game. I think it's like, I have to check, but it's pretty high. It's not my favorite buff in the game. It's just one of the best buffs. It's standard. It's 29% to taijutsu and 29.8% chance to jutsuki. So very, very strong. So that's physical and jutsu damage, like energy curse damage. So pretty good. Pretty good buff there. And overall, like the level 3 attack, it does a good job like throwing debuffs on the opponent. It just makes his attack damage go up. Yeah, just overall like a decent character. A really good buffer. I don't think this is an SR. I do think that it's in the... Because it buffs both taijutsu and jutsuki. Jutsuki buff is kind of rare. So for right now, I'm gonna put him in A+. Because it's not my go-to buff, and so I have to be honest with myself. And this isn't the buff that I normally. It's not attack damage. It's just a buff. It's a % buff to stats, which might. I don't know if it's going to be better in the long run. I have to think about that. Then we come to Shoko Sensei. So Shoko Sensei is... I'm going to put it in SS. It's a super rare in SS. Doesn't matter that you're not doing damage. If you pull this character, there's no reason you can't beat this game. This character is good. Like, really good. And the reason is that it's the healer of the game. Right now, it is the only healer of the game. Basically, the damage... The problem with... I guess if you would like knock her down, the damage... The issue with her is that her damage is calculated on taijutsu, her physical, but her physical stat is kind of abysmally low. So it doesn't really matter. But the only reason you really throw out physical attacks with her anyway is just to build your curse energy. That's the only... You're just building meter. Especially turn 1. It's just, I'll throw this down. You can even do the little 5 energy debuff. But I don't even recommend doing that because you're just going to want to have heals, which use the Jutsuki. And yeah, she can heal pretty much anyone in like 2 turns. You have to build her out right away when you get her. You do have to build her out for the grade. So her grade, you just want to push her up all the way so she can actually do something. But I can see her always being useful. I don't see it going away, especially if we get batteries. Just being able to heal, I think, is great. And this is 1.0. Maybe she'll be replaced later on. Maybe there'll be other healers. I don't see it, though. I don't think there's going to be that many healers, and I don't think Shoko Sensei is going anywhere. I don't think there's anything else to say about her. I think, increased use. I think she's going to increase use as harder missions come out. Yeah. Anything in SS, you're just going to keep using. I think they're only going to get better as it goes on. So then we come to R.I.P. Nanami Sensei. So, Nanami Sensei is a fantastic character in this game. Great damage, great stats. The level 3 in both of them, the level 3 skill, awesome. Awesome. Highly damaged, even on SR. Like this SR, I actually think the damage for this SR is above. I'm just gonna put it on S right now because that's where I think it is. I actually think that, and I'm not just doing this because I'm a big fan. I actually think that both of their damage is extremely high. And for red types right now, it's still one of the best red types. Like if you pull, and best green types. So if you pull either of the nanamis, you're using them. It's not going to waste. Yeah, level 3s for some, they do like extra damage. I'm trying to, let me pull up the thing here, but I think, yeah, it's like 118.2%, 118.2% physical and energy and curse damage. And that goes up by 10 every skill level you raise it. Very, very good move. Does like close to critical. And I think sometimes I see like black flash on a Kokusen. I wonder if that's hidden on the ability because this just does way too much damage. And the level 3 one for the SSR one does even more. And the super is even better. The SR super is really good though because it gives everyone like that little extra buff. Yeah, everyone gets 14 up damage, and that also goes up with skill. So the base is the 14 up %. So great super, gives you additional damage, just makes your team stronger. Also has a really good buff, self buff. I don't think the self buff stacks, but it gives you the base level's 20% extra damage. So you're getting the way to look at it is you're getting 20% extra damage for doing the buff. If you then get to your super, you get an additional, that's for 4 turns of self buff. You get an additional 2 turns of around 20%. So you're doing like a ton of extra damage, and the SSR does even more than that. So fantastic character. I can't say enough nice things. Then we get to toge. I'm kind of torn on this character. I have both versions of it. It's good if you pull this character because, you need... Yeah, I'm looking at my level for it. So I put a lot of use into this character. But I would put Toge-san as S. And I'm going to put it as above Nanami only because the break ability on the SSR is really good. I don't think Toge hurting themselves for like a little bit of damage every time is not a big deal. It's annoying, but it's not like the end. It doesn't like ruin the character for me. It's like very minimal, and the SSR version has the ability to like every now and then there's like a 20. It's like a every now and then it can like self-heal for like 20%. So yeah, really good character. And so you don't really have to worry. And you can also use the level 3 ability to self-heal, but I actually think that's one of the big marks against it. I think the level 3 self-heal is kind of a waste of a skill slot. And that's why this might fall off for me, but just right now there's no other really good yellow types, so I have to put it in S for right now. And I do think that its level 2 skill of being able to break is just, it's really good, because then you don't have to worry too much about attacks. But yeah, probably the best yellow attacker in the game. Let me know what you think. If I'm wrong, feel free to tell me, but I do think that the healing is like unnecessary. Like, I see why they put it in there, but I would have rather that actually the one good thing about the rare toge is that the rare toge has one of the best stuns in the game. So the stun is like, I think it's like 95% chance to stun. So this character actually can pull its weight because it can stun. So it actually goes into A tier. Terrible stats, terrible super. I think this one is Butovaus, kind of. I can't remember which shout he has. The cool thing is that he has a different shout for each one. I like that flair. Hasero. Okay, so this one has Hasero, and I think SSR is Buttobe. Yeah, Buttobe is much stronger, does more damage breaks, but yeah, this version of toge, it has this, the stun is just too good. Like, you can't ignore it. So I think later on, this could possibly see use for like when you need to stun a character. I think this character is going to get more use. I think they both might. It is like the one that's like hardest for me to place in this list, because they both do like very unique things that the other casts don't do that well. Which is like single stun % chance. Toge rare is the best, and this SSR Toge, the yellow attacker, is the best for one of the best. Maybe not when you compare to types, but for breaking the gauge and getting them to the broken stat. When you get an enemy to the broken stat, you can then just have 2 free turns, so it's really important. All right, so and then we have the new Toge SR, and this is from the new Zero event. I think this one's kind of bad. This is gonna go into like solid mid tier for me. I almost it's messed up. I almost want to put this in completely useless. I don't. Okay, so the reason is I think I have the character here, but they removed. I haven't pulled him yet, but even just reading this, it's like, okay, you gave it more damage, so maybe like 269, very nice. 0.8% is pretty good, but it's just a damage deal at that point. But then they gave this like weird counter. So yeah, damage wise, 159%. That's actually pretty good over 3 turns. You're still doing 3% damage to yourself. The super's okay at 614. Like it's all right. Like they made him like a proto like SSR, but not quite, because it's the only 2 characters that are able to pull. So, but I'm still gonna keep it a B, because I won't say it's completely useless, but I just think that there's other characters who might be able to do a better job. And looking at the stats, it's average, really. Then we have Panda. Panda is alright. Like, basically, the SSR and the rare version, they like force people to attack Panda. And the SSR version is much, much better, because you can revive when you get to HP 0. The stats aren't that bad. It's got a lot of durability, a lot of health, but the attacks are just they're a little bit on the weaker side for me. And so my opinion on having a blocker in this game is that it's going to be great in a team combination. Like if you have, Shoko Sensei healing, and then you have later on, I'm going to talk about it, but you might have someone putting some certain buffs on Panda to make him invincible or really good. Yes, you could make a whole team around Panda, but you're having to use an ability to make yourself block, so you're not attacking, and then you're having to throw buffs on to make, so you're just having to do a lot of work around this character when literally Gojo Sensei is right here. Like, he's here. Like, just use him. Like he can buff you. He can buff you. He can buff himself, and he's invincible. So you don't have to worry about like throwing buffs on yourself if you're already invincible. So I just think that there's other characters that do this better and already have more durability. So for that reason, I actually think this version is A. The only reason I'm putting in like the special A is because of the revive. That maybe there's something you can't get around later. This character might come back. But I just don't see, and it's not even like the highest green damage dealer. Like, all right, like you're all right. And the rare version is weak sauce. It's pretty bad. I actually think that this version is not useless, but it's It's going to be the bottom of B. I don't see this moving from the bottom of B. If you're going from left to right, I see this being right about there. In the new SR, that's the second character that you can pull in the event. Really, really good character. Again, they made it kind of a damage deal. I'm going to pull up the sheet here. 406 damage, 5 hits. In 5 hits. It's not calculating the critical on 5 hits. I think it does it in 1 from what I saw watching a few people play already. I don't know. I'm like, again, it's like a damage dealer. Pretty good. But yeah, even this one, it's like you choose an enemy, 180% damage, and then your physical damage goes up by 26.4%. You know what? That's actually not that bad. So he can like self-buff himself and do an attack. That actually is much better than the other toge. So you know what? I'll even say that solid B there. Like you're doing some things. You're pulling your weight. I might even put this in A. This ain't bad. I don't think it's that. Like if you just compare, the problem is it's blue type. Like look how many blue types we already have. So I'm gonna say, this is hard. This is hard because I'll say top of B for right now. Because everything right now, they do something very, very unique. Self-buffing and attacking, I don't know if that's unique. You know what I'll do? I'll put it at the bottom of B. Bottom of A. I'll put it at the bottom of A, because it's not really B tier. Like, this would be if you were just starting this game, and you pulled this character, it's pretty good. Like, it's weird, though, because they made the gacha right now, where you're just... all the other characters you're still pulling, it's just this SR toge and this SR panda that you're pulling for, and then they're repeating the other SR characters. So I don't even... that's why I'm not pulling for it, because I would rather just pull for all the all the movie characters at once. So now we're gonna come to Maki. So I'm trying to remember. Maki is one of my most used characters. I think she's higher rank than everyone. Yeah, she's... Yep, she's 18 on my thing. So she is my most used character. But she's not... This character might get replaced later on. And that's why I can't put her in SS. Because, yes, she's got incredible damage, physical damage. She has no Jujutsu Ki at all. 0. The stat is actually just 0. I'll show here real quick. Let's go to her. You see here, that's a big fat 0. Not a big deal. And she's your damage dealer. She's probably like one of the most straightforward characters in the game right now. Just doing a ton of damage. Maki can... pretty much right now might be the best character for doing all attack, because it doesn't cost, because she has no requirement for curse energy, she can just do an all attack. So she does an all attack, and she does an all attack for free basically, and she can also do a debuff for free, and then she has her normal single attack, which does the most damage. Her super isn't bad either, so I'm going to put her in S. I'm going to put her above Nanami, because as far as red goes, she is the best red damage dealer. However, I do think later down the line, she's going to be replaced. That's just my opinion. I just think that there's going to be other characters that do things better than her. She's a badass with the staff and all the weapons and stuff, but I don't know. Like... Jujutsu Kaisen is a world where power leveling is hard to imagine, because you literally have Gojo Sensei opening his eyes, floating in the sky, completely invincible. Mugen Jutsu all over the place, like, you know, and they, like, Skuna character. Then you have her who's just like, I'm really good with weapons and stuff. And so that's kind of how I feel about her character. She's just good at, like, hitting. So I do feel like this is fair. I feel like the R version of her, the stats, she is the same thing. She can attack all characters, but the stats are a little bit weaker. And the SR version, which is only available in the Zero event that's going on right now for, like, probably going to be, like, 2 weeks. Maybe a little release later, I would say is A. I want to say that they're, like, B, honestly. Like, not... Because there's, like, a nerf to the, again, blue type. And there's a little bit... She doesn't have the same skill ability percent damage. So the all attack for the SSR is much higher than the rare one or the SR one. They all pretty much do the same thing. Overall, yeah, I think B is fair for both of these. Like, you should definitely keep pulling if that's all you got in a pull. And the event, it's still a nice event character, like, thank you. And remember, if you pull any of one character, you don't have to worry about that for character rank. So if you're just going, well, I just need a character, you don't have to, like, make sure that you get every single kind of character, because if you're using that character, it still counts for the character rank. So these didn't, like, the movie characters and her didn't get put into separate character. It's still 22 characters right now. The number hasn't changed from day one. It hasn't changed. Sorry, I'm rambling a little about there, but it's, you know, I'm thinking about I'm double checking myself. I'm trying to check myself, remove any bias I have, because she is my most used character. I have a feeling that she'll be bye-bye in the future. I even want to put her as, like, A, but right now I have to put her as S, because this is this current season's tier list. Alright, we have Todo, my best friend, and has the best friend passive ability. It increases all the durability of party members. If you put him first, he has this really unique thing where he makes Yuji much stronger and have the Kokusen come out more. So, like, literally they made the best friend combo like a real thing in this game. So if you pull him, you want either Yuji in there, and you won't regret it. You're going to be doing more damage. Now, it's very good high team compatibility. Extremely good damage on his level 3 attacks. Probably some of the best R damage, but I'll put him... He's not the highest damage. Like, his damage is just slightly lacking. Like, there's something off about it. The stats don't creep down. So I'm going to put it right below... see, this is where I have difficulty with this. But yeah, I think... I don't know. Like, if you pull... The thing is, it's a weird one, because you really would have to pull in thinking about a team combination. Like, just on Toto's own, it's okay. But the Yuji combination is great. So I'm just going to put these two right here on the tier list. And I'm going to put this one at the bottom of S for right now, because I do think if you pulled this one, this is a fantastic S to pull. The damage is these two big boys right here. They do some hits. They smacking people really hard. So you don't have to feel that you lost out on anything. And now we start getting to the other team. So Noritoshi is good. You know, arrows, he can attack everybody. His super attacks everybody. However, he's actually a really bad area attacker. Really bad. Especially because he hits soft. Like, I guess... Even with his, like, little self buff at the beginning of the battle, which I need to check the percent here, but it's, yeah, every turn it's up by 20%. So even with a 20% boost to break damage and critical, he also increases his critical. which is a huge deal, he still hits like, I don't know if there's like pillows attached to those arrows, but I don't know. I love all my characters, by the way, are rank 8. Like, I got everybody to rank 8 and leveled them up to at least 70, and he was still kind of hitting soft. So 1v1 he was doing really good, especially for the triple arrow attack. And the stun is I think it was 60%. So also has a 60% stun. It's not an attack stun, but a stun nonetheless is on the blue team for me. But I'm gonna put on what do I do here? I'm so torn. I'm gonna put on Ain't Bad. Like, it's not. Like, if you have this on a blue team, it can stun, has some utility, just a little soft. I don't know why. Doesn't the guy take like doing like spirit steroids in the show? Like, I don't know why you're so soft in this game, but you are. But yeah, I'm gonna stick to like bottom of A right now, because I do, if I'm comparing like the blue types, I do think that the new Panda is probably the best of all the damage dealers for SRs, but obviously it's not Shoko Sensei when it comes to blue. So, all right, let's move on to Miwa. Miwa, you know, she's not really, didn't come off as serious in the show to me, and her character design also is, because I think she's one of the worst characters in the game, not only stat-wise, but skill-wise, because nothing she's doing is very good. She has a counter, but like, it's not an invincible counter, it's just a counter. It's not a strong counter. You have to use it, and then you have to hope that you get attacked. So again, you could set up a team combination where she's going to get attacked, like you'll get a guaranteed attack on her, but you could just pick a character that does more damage. Like, why work so hard? And for red types, she's already outclassed. I think this is the first useless, I'm sorry, Sam, I think this is the first completely useless SR. If you pull this SR, I'm sorry. you might want to pick a different. You might want to re-roll. Sorry. And that brings me to, yeah. And by the way, can do a small self buff, but it's so outshined because it's only like 20%, and I think 30% at maximum if you got the skill, which is half of what all the other buffs that I've talked about. Like, there's no, like, yeah, there's really, like, I can't, like, all the buffs that we've talked about so far that are team buffs, Masamichi's son's buff, Masamichi Sensei, even some of the other characters who do like little small buffs, they're all higher than what Miwa offers. So it's kind of a big pass for me. All right, mechamaru, one of my favorite characters in the show, by the way. Like, I'm a fanboy of this character. I'll hop on. I want to hop on the Evangelion mech. You know, and I thought it would be much cooler. And I was really, really excited to pull this character. I still am. Like, I just think this character has so much drip. In a show with so much drip, this character has drip. And it has drip in the game, too. Like, this game looks beautiful. His attacks just, they're cool. Like, he's just a cool character. But his greatest thing is that he has this, like, invulnerability to, like, poison and stun and, like, all these other stats. But his greatest strength is his greatest weakness, because he can't get healed. So, because he can't get healed, he's just out there. Any damage he takes, he's done. Now, he can get buffed, which is okay. That's nice. And then it leads into the other problem, which is, for a super rare green, his damage is a little bit, for some reason, on the weak side. Like, when I used him, level is very high, again, rank 8, I'm always, like, having this trouble, like, finishing off characters. Like, it's really nice that he can attack all characters, and his skill abilities are all really good. Like, he's got good damage, but not being able to heal, not really being at the top, is just putting this character kind of down on the list for me. And it's disappointing because I tried to make it work, but, you know, maybe we'll get a more powerful mechamaru later on. I do think there's more in store, but this SR, it ain't it. You ain't him. You ain't him. So I'm actually going to put this in B, actually. I think this is I do think this is a B. I think it's a top of B. But, yeah, even when I compared the damage, by the way, of the rare, of just Panda and Panda SSR, and I compared the damage of Fushiguro R and any of the greens, it's still like toward the bottom. So that's why I do think that this character is going to crawl lower and lower on the list. I think, yeah, anything in B really, I think is just going to be like completely gone in a little bit. And I do think things naturally move lower down the list in gacha games, but I think it's really going to shrink to the bottom, and it makes me a little sad. Then we've got Junpei. So Junpei is very interesting. So his Oritsuki skill is going to make this character a specialist for certain missions in the future, even certain missions now. I did a little bit of testing. This character has extreme survivability on top of having really good durability, really good health stat. And so there's a difference between the... And I'm jumping... Oh, I shouldn't have jumped... Well, I jumped to Junpei because I'm thinking about the new characters. But so Junpei, the SSR version got released, and the difference is that the SSR version of Oritsuki is it can make what it's. I'm just double checking out some of this. So the SR version costs 40, lasts 3 turns, and makes you invincible to 2 attacks over 3 turns. Now the SSR version costs 30, but it only makes you invincible 1 time, 1 turn to 1 attack. However, the attack stats and the poison dots on the SSR version are insane. They're really good. They outdid the damage on like the poison dot on the second skill. By the way, the auto battle, I know I said don't worry about auto battle. I just want to mention that if the makers of the game could just fix it so that the poison dot doesn't get chosen for this SR, it'd be great, because it is really, really not useful. It's like why are we doing this? Why are you making me suffer, through this choice? I'm gonna say that that Junpei is gonna go up on the tier list because of being able to make yourself invincible, and I actually think the SR version is better because of being able to last for 2 attacks. I think there's going to be some scenarios where you're going to have to survive some sort of boss's attack, and I think that's invaluable. Yes, the other stuff is nice, being able to do the dot damage, but you're still having to set up. The super is really good for Junpei. I think it's like 600 or something 400 dot damage over a couple of turns. It's really, really good. The super on the normal one's not that good, but this might be my controversial opinion. I'm gonna say this is at the top of the specialty list. I think this character is absolutely going to be useful later on. Being able to make yourself invincible cannot be understated. It just can't. And I do think either one you get it. I just think that having 40 energy, especially if you have a team that has like batteries, or it's a little off balance because of the 40 cost. But again, if you're fighting, especially for boss battles, where I think that this Junpei is going to be shining. Then we come to And yeah, if you think I'm wrong or you've got some like big theory, but I see this character I see this character going up on the list later on, not down. And I think right now you don't really need them because this Jubei is a good yellow damage dealer, but if you look at this list right now, you don't need him, but you will need him, I think, for that ability. So I would say it's a necessary, even though I put possibly necessary. All right, we're going along. I know there's a lot to talk about, but I'm trying to hit all the points and like talk. I could talk more in depth about the percentages than I am, but if I'm comparing the poison dot damage, it's non-existent. Like it's pretty bad on this SR, and he's pretty low on my list, even though his rank and level are high. Yes, poison dot damage 112 too. To be able to hit twice is nice. Yes, poison dot, it's 7 makes them go down 7-point damage. 18.9% damage on the SR dot over 3 turns. So it's garbage. And that's like the one downside you could say. It's like, yeah, you have this character that can turn invisible, but you would just have to use normal attacks with him because the dot is garbage. But you never know. I still think being able to survive 2 attacks, being invisible with 2 attacks over a certain amount of turns is better than being able to survive 1 at the cost of 30 if it's a long one-on-one battle. I want to clarify, these are very, very special ability characters. I don't think you'll be using these 2 often. There's no reason. Alright, then we come to she got a gun. She got a gun, and her level 3 special is nice, and it has a 30% stun chance. I don't think it goes up when you level it up. I can't remember. Yes, it does. Okay, so it goes up by a little. So you could probably get that stun percent chance to like 45 or something. So she's pretty good. Her damage is a little bit on the low side. She has this ability where she'll get extra shots in the middle. So she does the thing. She does the shooting. It's pretty good. But it's not that good because her damage is just... She's a little bit weak. So she is going to go in A for me. I use her on my yellow damage dealers because I do think it's worth it for having a character that can just stun. Yeah, you're rolling the dice. Yeah, 30. I think mine's at like 30. I've only leveled mine with 2 times, so it's at 34% chance, which is, it's all right. I could level up more, and then I'll have a more guaranteed chance of like a higher percent chance to get it. And I just think there's not much to sell. And I could see this character actually going down. I might actually put her down here because ain't bad, but I don't think she's necessary. Especially because the stun is too low. If we get a character that did the 3 shots, bop, 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 and then has like 60-70% chance to stun and does as much damage as that special attack, then we're playing ball. Once that character comes, I think the tier list will change definitely. Because, yeah, being able to attack and stun at the same time can't be understated. But she is a little bit... I don't know what it is about that, the Kyoto folks. They're just a little bit, yeah, I don't know, maybe they don't have that Tokyo, they don't have that thug in them. That, they're not as stylish either. So maybe, I'm just trying to say there's a factor. There's something in there where all the characters on the Kyoto side are a little bit weaker. But hey, I'm a Tokyo guy. I'm actually a Fukuoka team, which we'll talk about in a second. But then we're coming to Momo. So Momo, the witch girl, for everyone who doesn't remember her name, because she doesn't do a whole lot. And in this game, she actually does a lot more because she has really high evasion. She's got like decent durability, like okay stats. Her attack, she just does it like a normal shooting basic attack, but She has a full team stun, 50%. You can increase that to probably about 60 is my guess. With buffs, which is pretty good. So, has the same thing as Noritoshi, but in general, she's a better character. And that is because of her buff. So her buff is, you can get up to like 50%. It increases the damage that you deal to opponents. That is a big difference. So it's by 40. The one I have right now is at level 1. Sorry, at level 1. I wrote down the runs. Level 1 is 41.7% extra damage. That is the best buff in the game. I think it's better hands down because it's just straight up damage that you deal. You don't have to worry about what type you're buffing. You don't have to. It's just the damage you deal. It's to everybody, including yourself. For you though, the weird thing, I think it's like 1 turn. So you only buff yourself 1 turn, but you buff everyone. You buff everyone else 2 turns. It's 20 energy, which means you can do it like every other turn exactly. But you're not really going to be doing much else with her except buffing. You really shouldn't even be using stun, but it's well worth it. Like if you factor in the percent that you'd be doing, that buff is worth it. But that's just my opinion. I could be wrong. I mean, I'm not. I'm not right now unless there's a crazy. This is the current buffs. She's got it. And that's why I actually put her at the top of S. I think she's super useful. I think she's really good. I might maybe not at the very top S. I'll put her like right here. I'll put her right below these two, maybe right here. I want to put her in SS because I think she's great. But I'm trying to keep a cool head because the thing is she isn't attacking, and every other turn she is doing just like a little itty bitty damage. And you can't like switch characters right now or anything on your sub character or your partner select character. So because of that, maybe not. But if you're trying to come out like with a team that's just swinging, she's your witch. She will actually put a curse on you where you're supposed to be doing that. So yeah, I'm gonna stick with that. And then we come to a very sad Kiyotaka. So Kiyotaka is the weakest character in the game now. Stats are garbage. His buff is just taijutsu up like 24 to 34% based on how much you level up the skill, which why would you? It's again half of the top buff. The best thing about this character is that he is a character that can give other characters super, but he has to have super to do that. So his super gives other characters their super. The only reason this character could go from being utterly garbage useless is if there's some item or equipment later that instantly gives you super at the beginning of battle. I don't see that happening. So I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll put him at the top of completely useless. Because our man's dressed nice. Like, there might be something happening in his future. And I don't even know if he really died in the show. You know what I mean? I don't think he's out for the count. I hope not. Kiyotaka's my favorite salaryman ever. But yeah, just unfortunately they kind of did him dirty on this one. It's kind of just a waste of a slot as it is. Then we come to Yuki, the first Fukuoka character. So Yuki is an interesting one because both of these Yukis do, the rare Yuki and the SR Yuki do very, very different things. I'll just say this right now, the R Yuki, yeah, first off, I'm not saying they're supporters. The game actually straight up tells you in the storyline that they're supporting type characters. He's like, yeah, I'm just so you know, I'm not an attacker, bro. I'm gonna sit in the back. You do the fighting. I'll support you. And so it's gonna be interesting because the rare version of this character. Let me pull it up. Yeah, so the rare version after the skills leveled all the way up, is going to be able to recover 20% curse energy damage. So if essentially this rare version is a battery for your team, like just it's going to be a battery. This if they make any other characters like this, I would be surprised, because you could, if you had two characters like that, and you can give certain characters that their level 3s are broken, their level 3 skills are broken. Yeah, you're gonna be having some interesting things, because it's gonna let you do your max skill damages right from the start, and then into the next 2 turn, 3 turn, 4 turn. But again, the R version is lacking damage, but it's nice. It's nice to have a buff, and so I think that this character could see more play later on, especially if there's items where it's like that character gets their energy up even more than just by 10. Maybe it's 20, 30%. So I don't know, you know. I don't think this character is the better of the two, because the super rare version actually has decent damage, and it has a damaging super, which isn't bad. But the OP thing that the super rare version has is it can make your a character of your choice invincible for 3 turns from 2 attacks. So once 2 attacks happen on you, you're done, even if it's only been the first turn. But that is insanely good for boss fights. And you can target yourself too. You can make yourself invincible for 3 turns. Like, the only way this Yuki could get better is if somehow he had the ability to make himself invincible and then buff him and himself's energy by 20% the next turn. Like, mind would blow. This character would become a must to use on the game. It's just unfortunate they separated these two. But yeah, if you just combined the ability of those two, and I'll just show right here, because I do think that Yuki is like the secret star of this game right now. Or is going to be the future star of this game because of that ability. If they make more abilities like this, you could see even the hardest stages being cleared easily, no problem. Especially those, like, the current end game boss fights. I could see them being beaten like no issue. So yeah, mine's level 50, but so here you have it's everyone's up 10%. The super buff is nice because it makes you go up. I would rather have a supporting character that has a super buff, and this one actually like makes your physical attack, your taijutsu, up by 64.8%. I mean, it's all right. It's okay. It's pretty good on the right team. It's a pretty big buff. Like, that's a huge percent buff. But you have the super version, which is like, yeah. No, not down. This one. Make your character invincible. Oh, that's right. And your physical attack, your taijutsu, goes up by 15%. So you're double buffing on this one. And it's just, I just think that's crazy. And I think that for that reason, I think I have to put this character in the super useful. I think that right now it can't be at the bottom A. I think this one's in like the middle of A, but I might put it below. I think you need these characters. I think you need Junpei, and I think you need Yuki, no matter what. So you should try and pull for them. And I don't know, I am focusing a lot on making a character invincible, but it's not just for one turn for either of those. Like, it's for several turns and for 2 attacks. So for boss battles, it's gonna be, I think it's gonna be broken. I just see this character being like the cheat method to how to win. Alright, so let me move on to Rin. Rin is good. Rin-chan, she's the other original Fukuoka character. The damage is bad. I think she has to spend energy to buff herself. to SR levels of damage. I just don't think it's very good. So I think that R and her stats are also they're trash. So I'm going to say that the R version is completely useless, unfortunately. But the SR version, it's mid. Like, the problem is, like, both her supers, the SR version is just better stats. She can buff herself to get super in about 2 turns with one of her skills, with her level 3. It's not really good overall. She's just kind of a disappointing character. And, like, Yellow overall feels like the weakest type. But she's not helping. And I want to say she's, like, above Panda. Yeah, I'll put her above Panda. Like, Panda still does some stuff. But, again, I'm not a big fan of blocking in this game. I don't think I missed too many characters. Comments. I'm trying to go off the top. Like, we're right at the end here, and these 2 last characters are very special. And I do have someone who actually has both of the character, so know somebody who has both of them. I don't. I haven't exchanged the medals yet, but I do understand how good these characters are going to be. So Grandpa Jogo Ji-chan, and Hanami. Yep. So these 2 are really good. I would say that Jogo is going to be useful because he's got great damage, especially once you activate super and you get a 30% boost for 3 turns to your damage. And he's going to be really good 1v1 because he can hit the same target 3 times. So I think the base stat was like 86% damage, which is extremely high. Nothing to scoff at. But yeah, the basic abilities and stuff, and the level 2 ability wasn't that good. I didn't think like they were awesome. So yeah, I think with a battery, this character would be a main blue TPS. But again, you'd have to make a specific team for that, and we haven't really seen battery stuff come into play yet, like someone to create the curse energy, aside from Yuki. The good thing is that Jogo starts with the more energy and has a buff, where at the beginning of battle will actually recover 10 energy. And interestingly, it's a DPS character because when Grandpa gets to half-life, I don't know if the volcano or something changes in the appearance, but you'll do an additional 25% damage. So your damage goes up even more. So if you combine that with the super and the other buffs you're getting, this character is going to be absolutely putting out some heat on the field. I do think that it's right at the top of S, is my opinion. And I'm going to explain why I think Hanami is above that. And so, great basic attack, 2 hits, pretty high damage. The super activation is 4 turns. It's an AoE dot. That's like a 460 at the base level. And it debuffs enemies. The level 3 skill is just a really good one, really good debuff as well. Level 2 skill does like 210 damage for 210% damage for 20 energy, which is like, it's not, it's not the best in the game, but it's close right now. And I don't think this character is going to get outshined anytime soon. So yeah, I think Hanami-chan is the best red DPS type, and also starts with more. I think it's like 40 or 50 curse energy because of the same buff, and a little broken extra thing to throw the a little extra rose on top, a little extra petal for her. Heals 13% HP every turn. So self-healing, excellent damage. Is going to be extremely good on the boss battles. I think this is going to go right here. I don't think I'm mistaken. I don't think I forgot anybody else. Gojo Sensei, we talked about there's no other forms. Yeah, that's everyone. So this is your 1.1.1 tier list. Nothing's changed from the beginning. There's been no additional characters. There's just been additional variants of those characters, the R types. I do think this is about right. I really don't see anything wrong with my list. I don't think there's enough people out there that have tried Hanami to know just how good she is. She's OP. You could even say that Gojo Sensei and her are close. I don't see it going down. Yeah, I just overall, the only reason by the way, the only reason I'm not putting Jogo Jitan higher is that, I mean, one, he's also Jurei type, so he's not going to get as many buffs from your player rank as, say, you would get everyone else. He's still good, you know, still good, but you have to get to half-life and you have to activate your super. There's a lot of if conditions to get his, you know, his damage higher. If he survives, if you're able to make specifically Jogo survive, then I think you have a good character in team. But again, the way I always look at a character, and this is usually, you know, I don't think I'm looking from like a speedrunner perspective. I think I'm looking at it as like, okay, this character does just as much without having the buffs, or maybe close to it without having to have these turns of setup and these conditions met. And so that's why I put Hanami and some of the other characters over. There's a lot of crazy team combinations you could do, and those team combinations could be SS and have their own ranks and push those character ranks higher. But I'm trying to rank the characters just as they are now, looking at the types of characters in the game, looking at, you know, how each of the character performs, and thinking about, okay, on their own, do they really stand up? And I think this is a fair tier list. Like anything you roll B, I do feel like you would re-roll. You would want to do again. The starting characters you get, they're not that bad. You can get through the game. I'm trying to think. Maybe this. The problem is, like, there's no really great yellow types right now aside from Kugisaki. There's nothing that goes whoa. And like the thing is that Kugisaki breaks better than the toge that breaks. So I could see this toge dropping way lower on the list. But as it stands now, you're going to want to go through the game, and you're going to want to get, you know, you're going to want to make sure that you have certain types, type sets that you can clear, you know, quickly enough. I don't think too much will change for the... I'm just going to get this so we can have a nice little screenshot there. I could see some issues with maybe having Momo-chan this high on the list, but I just think that she's the best buff. I got better results than I did with Masamichi. You could also put Masamichi way higher on this list. Masamichi Sensei's buff is just as good. The thing is, I think Masamichi's buff is... I want to say it's more, actually. Or maybe it's the same. No, they're both 20 energy. So you could argue that both is better. Or one is better than the other. Both are good. So, but I just think overall, this character, I felt that as a red type, the damage was eh. And like, outside of the buff utility, I was like, I don't really want him on my team. I don't know if I'm making sense with that. I just felt like there's better choices. Todo's another one where you could argue that for lower or higher on the list. But I think it's a about right where it is. I might even put it lower, but the best friend combo isn't. I mean, you just put them in order. Like, so when you use them in battle, you just make sure. And I know that's unfair because you're talking about team combination, but it almost feels like they were made to be played together. I guess I will move this one like a little bit lower, because if you don't have that combination, you're just giving yourself durability. But it's got to be better than the song. No, I'll do this. I'll do it this way. Maybe that's good. Maybe the percent. I don't know. I can't. I really feel like I did. I hit it on the money with this one. Like I don't feel like I missed a beat with this. There's not really much I would change. I don't know. But let me know, you know, if you're watching this on replay, you watched this whole thing, let me know what you think that you would change. Where do you see characters going up on this list? Am I crazy for thinking about, like, that? I just think being able to make a character invincible is going to carry you through the game later on, especially when you get, like, stuck on missions. I did it with some of the dungeon stuff, and it was just goofy. Like, I wasn't getting hurt at all. Especially because, you know, if I'm able to make my battery invincible, and then vice versa, and, you know, if characters like Panda who could be there, could just revive, you just I think there's going to be long, drawn-out battles in this game, and I think looking at that, you really have to look at the characters here in this A+ rank. But they could move down or up. I don't know. I have a feeling that some of these characters will probably move down. I could see Toge moving down because of his stun. By the way, the only other thing about this is I would say the 95% on this, it's written that way, but it could be calculated based on the Jutsuki damage. The Jutsuki damage is, the calculator is a little odd for how it works on the stun. Some stuns are calculated on that, some aren't. Just as healing is, and some other stuff. So my damage calculators might have been wrong. But I do think that this might be. Maybe I would put. I'm gonna put this Toge down a little bit, because if you're really having to stun that much, I was maybe running into an issue. I actually might throw this one out to B. I don't think this Toge is gonna go up, because it's not up now. We're at the beginning. I don't. Yeah, I think that's about right. But I'm glad I talked about it in the video, so I don't have to, like, feel bad about it, like moving him there. But yeah, I'm second guessing myself on that one, because I don't think it's necessary. This game, I mean, really, for, like, I know it's only been 2 weeks, if to 3 weeks, if that. 21st, so yeah, not 2 weeks. So, you know, it's still a new game, but I am liking the gameplay. I'm liking a lot of the strategy. I see what they're trying to do. I'm not a big gacha system thing. I don't like the way they're doing some of the gachas. Like, just put the character out. Like, put all the characters out, and don't have these gachas where there are these characters that are lower tier that if you pull them, you're not going to be as excited. I don't know, but you know, there's whales out there. They gotta please the people with the moolah, with the money. If I'm like, see, here's another thing about it. We've got Gojo Sensei. Shoko Sensei is not a damage dealer. The reason I'm going to keep Noritoshi on A is that there's no other, like, really good, like, blue damage dealers. I think that this whole A tier is going to get shifted down when we get other characters that just do way more damage. I do think that this is one of the worst SSRs in the game. I would not be. first of all, I have like a ton of people that are friending, especially since they opened the official Discord, and it's great. But everyone that we were friend exchanging, there's like 2 people that like will use him, and I think they switch him out just for fun so people can try him, but not a fan. Mai is just a little bit weak. She probably could go even a little bit lower down this list, just because the damage, even with that like little, she gets like she's gotten like 3 extra hits in a turn once before, and even then I was just kind of, it was like, all right, that's cool, I guess. It wasn't enough to make me go like, oh yeah. I just think the stats they're not great for her. Yeah, I'm gonna stick. I think this is a decent list. A battery is gonna work in specific situations with Yuki. I think Yuki SR is better. I also think that Panda's kind of he's okay. He could go higher because there's just no big, green damage dealer right now. Like I feel like the weaker types right now are green and yellow. Blue has some big. Blue also has a little bit of weakness. We don't have like anything like overpowered right now, do we? Red is the overpowered one, I would say, right? Nah, I wouldn't even say it's overpowered. I'm looking at this, like, this game actually is like kind of balanced right now. There's like 1 OP character in every color. Except green. Yeah, I would say like green is probably the weakest type right now. There's no like must-have green. I'll put Panda at like the top of A. That's what I'll do. Because the damage is there. I'd say it's super useful. I don't know. I'm torn. I didn't really feel Panda that much. I don't know. I could see some arguments in this list, but I think for green, you wouldn't really just use a team of straight greens, and I think that's the way to look at this game. Like, you need some balance on your team. So I'll talk about team combinations that I think are really good next time, like 2 or 3, and I'll try and do one for people that are strictly have had bad luck or doing free to play. Maybe we can talk about that later this week, and I'll do like a little video on that for the composition before the game has even more events, because they just seem to be doing a lot of events already, and so there's going to be even more characters as the game goes on and more crazy team combinations that you can do. What do you think? I like this. I think this is a good list. Yeah, I think we're doing all right on it. Yeah, if you don't mind, be sure to follow me on Twitch. That's where I stream live all the time. Sub to me if you haven't already on YouTube. I speedrun and I do a lot of stuff during the week, but I play this game every night. We're going hard on this. I really like this game so far. That's rare to say. But I've liked the other games that I've played, but I've always had the purpose of, hey, I'm going to just speedrun this game, or just get good enough to speedrun this game, or just play it enough. Like I played Bounty Rush, I played Legends, and I'll just do it so I can get like, Ultra Instinct or Gear 5th Luffy, or I played Unadin and stuff. So it's not like I'm not new to gacha, but I'm new to going this hard, and it's there. I will speedrun it. The leaderboard is open, but I also just think that this game's a lot of fun. It's nice to just kind of see the events they're doing and kind of make me I feel like this game makes me think just a little bit more than maybe some of the other games that I played, and that's kind of what I'm enjoying out of it. Will they ruin that? Will they take it out? I don't know. I'm not going to talk about gacha percentages and things like that in this video, but I've talked about it in other streams, explaining. And by the way, if I've insulted you, if you are throwing your wallet at the screen for this game, and slapping your iPhone or Android every day. Hey, I have nothing. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. It's your money. Do what you want. That's the way to go. Let's add me on. Add me on the game. I'll throw up my little character in the description. I'll put the links to other channels and Instagram and Twitter. You can find me, but I'll also put my code in there so you can add me. All right, I think that's it. I think this is a good list. I'm going to be streaming, like I said, every single day. New content, new strategy. I appreciate everyone asking the questions. Thank you in chat, by the way, if you were chatting. I'm sorry I turned it off. I just want to focus on making this tier list. This is I don't normally do like public tier lists like this, so yeah, I really appreciate any support you can give, and I'll see you soon. Good luck with training, and good luck with any game that you're doing. Peace.